today. Short. Obviously, right, Trot Town now is Trot Town. Everybody's here. This morning, some people I knew from, historic tracks stopped by out of nowhere. People I haven't spoken to in front of the building here. And we're talking, and I got these weird, vibes from everyone, and they're saying, you got the short end of the stick, that what happened never should have happened. I'm like, I didn't want to do any of this shit. I'm talking to people I haven't spoken to in years. And throughout the day, a couple other things happened. I'm kidding around over the fence with people, like it started to feel normal again. And just now, I just walk out of my building. Great American weekend wrapped up for the day, so I'm going to just go walk around the village, might get an ice cream, not bothering nobody. I walk out of the Goshen Inn where I live, where Delancey's is. The streets are pretty much empty. I look to my left, and one guy is walking toward me, and I stop, and I do like that. He stops, he looks at me, and I go, "John Campbell?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me, man." I said, "Do you know who I am?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I know who you are." So we had like a 3-minute quick chat. There must be something going on inside, who knows, at Delancey's. I shook his hand and I said, "Johnny," I said, "I never wanted to do any of this." And I told him the story about what happened at Goshen. I said, this all started because of me getting thrown out of Goshen Historic Tract by Steve Jones over ice, and me going on social media and complaining about it, which I did. And he just didn't know what to say. I said, and all this other stuff, I said, I don't want to be doing this shit. I said, I'm the most hated and the most loved. He goes, "No, you are." So I said, and I mentioned the SBOANJ thing with the $200,000 in Breeders' Crown. And I said, I felt bad. I said, "John," I said, "I mentioned your name in there because I read the depositions, but only in reference to that they don't even supply him with numbers on the attendance of the Breeders' Crown and or the Hamiltonian, just being an estimated attendance." So I said something about, and this is the way I said it, I said, "I hate putting people in a situation or mentioning your name." And he goes, "It's not me, it's them." And it's exactly what he said to me. So I said, I didn't want to hold him up. I said to him, I said, "I'm not kidding. I've never wanted to do this. I hate doing this. Today was the first day that I felt like it felt a little normal, kidding around, yelling back and forth with Bartlett over the fence. But I'm still excluded. And if that's the way it's going to be and stay, well, I'm going to stay the prick." And that's what I said to him. I said, "I'm sick and tired of always being the bad guy." And and his words were, "Somebody's got to do it." I said to him, "I don't want to do it anymore. I'd rather be back in the jog cart," is what I said to him. And then I said, "Well, I'll let you go." I shook his hand. I tell you what, he's still got his grip. Like, holy shit. And to me, as the kid who went to the Meadowlands in 1985-86, and I told Billy O'Donnell not too long ago in a message that I'll never forget when I was doing my first catch paddocks at the Meadowlands, and I would get done or whatever, or I'm standing underneath the TV with them guys back then watching replays, and I'm looking around me just in awe of these guys. And here it is, 2025. I'm doing whatever the hell it is that I'm doing. And, to bump into a guy like that, I mean, is he still the leading, I think he's still the leading money earner as a driver, right? And, man's won everything. And one of the guys that if there was celebrity, put it this way, even when I'm in music, when I was meeting people along the way doing The I never got starstruck by those guys, but by the drivers and the guys that I grew up when I was young. And like at the Meadowlands, when it was the Meadowlands, I was literally starstruck. And I kind of almost had that same feeling bumping into him just now, but that was pretty cool. So, John, if you see this, thank you for that. It kind of made me feel the game again, because I still love the sport. And I guess if I got to be the one to fight for it, I'll do it. But those guys over there, whoever, if they're in the same room with you, what they did is they knocked out someone that loved the game and never did a damn thing wrong to a horse, anything. All because of their egos. Anyway, catch us all later.